StraighTAllDay.com.
Tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is what mindset is not. Before we get into this, I remind everybody, every morning I send out a text message called Daily Motivation. It is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. I would suggest, if you know what I know, that you get this text every single morning. All you got to do to join my text community is text me at my number 305-384-6894. And every day when that Daily Motivation comes out, anybody who wants it will be getting it. We'll give you your options there. We also send out Monday Motivation every Monday morning. Anybody who wants to get that, it's a little bit longer text message, a little bit more in-depth message that a lot of people seem to like. So you have many options, but the first thing you got to do to have any of these options available to you is you have to text me to get into my text community. Again, that number is down below in the description. Secondly, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That is where you get to work with me directly. That is the only place you can work with me directly. The only way to work with me is by being a member of my university. And in Work on Your Game University, you have options of joining our group mastermind programs. You have option of working with me directly one-on-one, which is not available to everybody. We have a limit on that. But if you would like to work with me, you need to go to workonyourgameuniversity.com so you at least know what your options are and you can take advantage and start moving quickly to do something. All right, we ain't got time to think about it, wait, or until this and that. All right, that's what you said last year. That's what you said 2 years ago. That's what you said 6 months ago. All right, it's time for you to actually make something happen. When it comes to your mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability, then go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and stop playing around. Time for playing around is over. All that out the way, let's get into today's topic, which is what mindset is not. Excuse me again. Now, I talked in episode 2357 how mindset really works. And I talked about mindset in itself, probably in damn near 1,000 episodes of this show. So I'm talking about mindset all the time from a lot of different angles. And I've made clear to you all that mindset is the foundation of what we do over here at Work on Your Game. So that only makes sense. All the other things that people want to do, people like you, things like build a business, make more money, strategize, put systems in place, be consistent, increase your productivity, be more effective, etc., etc. These are all based in the way that you think. They're all based in mindset, which means if you do not change the way that you're thinking right now, then none of these other things are even open to being changed. Only way you can change any of these things is you have to change the way that you think, because thoughts lead to words and words to action. So if you want to change your actions, you have to change your thought process. Okay, so let's talk about what mindset isn't. But the reason I'm talking about it from this angle because I don't want you doing things backwards. I found that a lot of people do things backwards when they have inaccurate formulas and they don't quite understand, again, the space that they're in. I talked about this in yesterday's episode, like knowing what game you're in, knowing what business you're in. When we're talking about you changing your activities, you got to understand what actually makes them change and how to trigger that catalyst that can move you to changing your actions. If you don't know how to do it or you're doing things the wrong way, then that completely explains why you've, for the last several months or years, had the same idea, the same frustration, the same problem that you wanted to fix, yet you haven't fixed it yet. Not because you're stupid, not because you don't have access to the information, it's simply because you haven't had the right formula. Today, I'm going to tell you where the wrong formulas are so you can at least stop doing the wrong thing so we possibly get you in a position to do the right thing. All right, you know what they say. The first rule of being in a hole is to stop digging. So let's get into it. Point number one. Topic, once again, is what mindset is not. Number one, mindset is not hyping yourself up like a sugar rush. Hyping yourself up is not mindset. See, the reason why hyping yourself up is not what mindset is about, because, first of all, mindset is a compound word, right? It's about setting your mind, or it's based in it. The concept is a compound word. Let's put it that way. It's a way that you set your mind. Hyping yourself up is temporary. It's not a setting of the mind. It comes and goes. That's what happens with hyping yourself up. It doesn't set your mind in any way. All it does is give you a little rush. Again, same way that eating a Snickers bar is not going to really change your overall health. All it does is it brings you up for a minute and then it crashes you back down just as quickly as it went up. All right, it doesn't set your mind in any way. You want to set your mind, which is what mindset means, which entails a permanent change in your way of thinking. You need to do consistent work on the way you think. If you want to change your mindset, that means changing the way you think. That means you need to do work on the way that you think. Hyping yourself up, doing something that's one time, temporary, these one off activities, none of these do anything to set your mind. It's the same way that marketing is not a one time or a one off activity in business. Any of you who's a business owner, your marketing process is not a one-time thing. Marketing is not something that you randomly do. Marketing is part of the fabric of what your business does. Because if you don't do any marketing, you're probably not going to do much business. If you're not marketing on a consistent, regular basis in your business, or at least not in an effective way, well, the bottom line of your business will be affected by this lack of marketing focus or this lack of effective marketing. So it's the same thing with your mindset. If you're not consistently working on it, then your outcomes will be affected by this lack of focus on mindset, this lack of effective focus and effective work on your mentality. So if you're not doing things to consistently affect the way that your mind operates, i.e., working on your mindset, but you're only doing things every now and then, well, your mindset will not be dependable nor reliable for you. Why? Because you haven't done anything to make it dependable or reliable. So, I mean, what are you expecting? You expecting this to just happen like magic? Well, it doesn't. So if you do not do the work, you should not be expecting the results. Simple as that. Moving on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is what mindset is not. Number 2, telling yourself positive and uplifting things. This is not mindset. It's not to say that telling yourself positive and uplifting things can't be helpful in a pinch. But is this mindset? No, it is not. You see, especially when you have a questionable strategy, telling yourself positive and uplifting things, all that will do is accelerate your speed of failure, where you don't even need to fail at all if you had a better strategy. Now, see, I'm a person who's all about positive thinking. I did a whole episode on the life-changing 48-hour experiment in episode number 2023. So I'm all about positive thinking. Thinking positive is a good thing, even a great thing. But thinking positively when you have no formula for turning that positive thinking into a positive result is usually a failing plan. All right, that plan is not really going to work. You need a formula for turning positive thinking into a positive outcome. And again, just telling yourself positive things, this is not mindset. Remember that discipline, folks, is supported by structure. All right, remember hearing me say that before? If you haven't, then now you've heard me say it. The discipline of having a positive mindset is supported by the structure of having solid, tangible, and possible reasons for that positive mentality. Not possible, but plausible reasons for that positive mentality. When you have solid reasons, tangible reasons, and reasons to have a positive mentality that makes sense, that are based in some reality and some truth that you can see, okay, I have a positive reason to think positively about what's happening right now because this, and this. All right, that's good. That's a good thing. That's a good way of thinking positively. See, in that situation, I can think positively about making sales in my business because it's much easier for me to think positively when I have a real strategy for making the money come in. If I know that I can close somebody on a $30,000 sale, then I can think positively about making a $30,000 sale because I know that I can do it. I've done it before and I have proof in front of me that I can see I've done this. I know how to do it. I know what it takes. If I'm thinking positively about making money in my business without a real strategy, I can still think positively and feel good, but it's like eating a lot of candy on an empty stomach. It might feel good for a while, but it ultimately will hurt me more than it helps me. So you want to make sure that you have something tangible in place anytime that you want to think positively about anything. And getting something tangible in place simply means finding someone who has already figured out the thing that you're trying to feel positive about, plugging into what they know, and simply applying it to your situation. Let me say that again. Finding someone who has already achieved the outcome you're looking to achieve. They already have the result that you want to acquire. Plug into what they have to offer that can help you do the same thing that they did. And then you simply execute it. Executing on a consistent basis. That's it. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is what mindset is not. Number 3. Mindset is not something that you do. Mindset is not an activity. A lot of people think mindset is an activity. Let me do some mindset stuff. Mindset is not an activity. Mindset is a way of thinking and ultimately a way of being. Let me repeat that. Mindset is a way of thinking and ultimately a way of being. Our being is based on the way that we consistently think. And remember that the word is mind set. You are setting your mind in a certain way. This is based on your consistent everyday behavior, not something that you do when you think about it or something that you need. You need something right now, so now you're willing to be a diligent hard worker. But on regular days, when you don't need anything, you're coming to work late. You're not coming to work at all. You're goofing off on the job. You're loafing off when you get an assignment. So you can't just decide when you need something, all of a sudden you want your mind to work in your favor. You haven't been doing the work. If you haven't been doing the pre-work, then don't expect the mind to show up when you need it. This is why you should be doing consistent work on your mindset on a daily basis. And this does not need to take hours, but it needs to be something that you do for your mind every single day. Some people journal. Some people do daily affirmations. Some people do mindfulness or meditation exercises. I wrote an entire book called The Mental Workbook about this very process of getting your mindset based on your daily behaviors and programming of your subconscious mind. So the mental workbook is all about how you program the subconscious mind to get it to work in your favor and work the way that you want it to work. And if you don't do this work, if you're not doing this work on a consistent basis, then the mind's not going to come through and deliver for you when you need it to deliver. This is why you got to do the pre-work, which is in the mental workbook, and the ongoing work, which is also laid out in the mental workbook. You can get that book by going to workonmygame.com/workbook if you want to get the book by itself, or if you want my suggestion on how to get the book, I would suggest you go to the landing page for the third day, which is thirddaybook.com, thirddaybook.com, and order the third day. Click the checkbox on that page, get the Work on Your Game system manual as well, and then just go through that funnel and just say yes to everything that we offer you. You'll leave that funnel with about 13 books, including the mental workbook as one of them, because you'll go through all of our offerings and all of our bundles there. You might as well get more than one book, because who reads just one book? If you read a Dre Baldwin book, you will read more than one book. So you might as well get them all at the same time now anyway. So affirmations, some people do. Mindfulness, some people do. Again, the mental workbook takes all of those things into account, and I lay out an entire program for you to program your subconscious mind, which in turn will program your conscious mind, which in turn will lead to different thoughts, different words, different actions, different outcomes. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is what mindset is not. And again, mindset being the foundation of what we do over here at Work on Your Game. I want to make sure everybody understands this, and where you may be doing things backwards and therefore setting yourself in the wrong direction. Number one, hyping yourself up like a sugar rush. This may feel good in the moment, but this is not what mindset is about. Hyping yourself up is temporary. Mindset is permanent. Mindset, you are setting your mind. You're not temporary. It's not a temporary tattoo. This one stays on. You can't erase it. Number two, telling yourself positive, uplifting things. This is not to say that these are bad things to do, these things that I'm pointing out here today. But you don't want to tell yourself positive, uplifting things when you have a questionable strategy. All it's going to do is send you very confidently into a failure. All right? And that shouldn't be happening just because. All right? Life is not all just a numbers game. All right. At some point in that numbers game, you can get strategic and actually start planning out what you're doing, so that everything is not just a hit or miss 50-50 deal. You want to do some things where it's a 90-10 deal of success, right? You can do that when you have the right strategy. Many of you don't have a good strategy. And the reason you don't have a good strategy is because you haven't even done the mindset piece yet. Or there's an order to this. Mindset first, then strategy, then systems, then accountability. Again, in Work on Your Game University, I coach you through all of this stuff. So telling yourself positive things can feel good, but it doesn't actually do what you need it to do. And number three, something that you do. Mindset is not an activity. Mindset is a way of being. It's a way of thinking, which becomes a way of being. And our being is based on the way that we consistently, our being is based on the way that we consistently uh, move ourselves. And remember that the word is mindset. How are you setting it up? How are you setting your mind in a certain way? It's based on consistent everyday behavior, not something that you just think about or do when you feel like it. So some people do their daily behaviors through affirmations. Some do mindfulness or meditation exercises. Maybe that's a combination of the same thing. Or an entire book on it called The Mental Workbook that explains this, different ways you can do it, but the process of making sure it gets done, the structure of making sure it gets done, that's the most important part of what's in the mental workbook. So if you don't have that book, make sure you go get it. Go to thirddaybook.com. Just go through the funnel. Say yes to every offer we make you. you will leave with 10 books plus the mental workbook as one of them. All right, and this is all about programming your subconscious mind. You want to get your mind in the right set. Start with the subconscious. It works higher at a higher level than the conscious mind, and it produces bigger results that last longer. All that said, text me so you're getting my daily motivation text I send out every day. My number is 305-384-6894. We'll give you options once you text me. You're in my text community for free. And then workonyourgameuniversity.com. I just mentioned that. That is where we focus on mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability in that order. That is our 4-part framework. If you have listened to enough episodes of this show and you know that I can possibly help you moving forward, you already know by this point you might be thinking about it, or maybe you already decided. But if you haven't taken any action yet, it's time to take action. I just told you here today. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, and that's where you can learn how you can work with me directly. Work on your game. Dre all